Hey, welcome back to Sober Now. I'm Jim LaPierre. Today, I want to talk about the fear of judgment. This, of course, is incredibly common, not just in early recovery, but for a lot of us, even with long term sobriety. We find that our concern about what people think of us is pretty high. There's an old joke that some of the saltiest of old timers in AA would say, you know what people think about you? They don't. We have a tendency to project our insecurities. We have a tendency to decide that other people see us in the same way that we see ourselves. And that is almost never the case. In fact, healthy people aren't going to judge you in a way that's highly critical. They're not going to shame you. They're not going to guilt you. And that's actually underscores an important distinction. Quite often in early recovery, we're not sure how we're feeling. So the definition that I use, that I offer to people, is guilt is I did bad, and shame is I am bad. And I've met a lot of people that lived with copious amounts of shame. Almost none of them were anything that I would consider a bad person. They were simply people who did bad things. One of the most incredible experiences I've had with people in early recovery is sitting in a room of 10 or 12 people, every single one of whom is convinced that they're the worst person in the room. And a friend of mine who's co-facilitated some groups with me would ask, well, have you invented some new sin that the rest of us haven't tried? There's no context, there's no perspective in our shame. And I often say that shame is the worst enemy of a person entering recovery because it'll leave us pushing away the very people who are best poised to help us and are probably people who have done similar things or had similar experiences. What I've found is that typically the things we're most ashamed of are not things that we did. There are things that were done to us. If you looked at any given group of people in recovery from addiction, I can very confidently predict for you that nearly all of us, all of the folks in that group have survived some form of trauma, whether it's childhood abuse is extraordinarily common for us. Sexual assault and past sexual abuse is also very common for us. And sadly, a lot of us take those secrets, take those painful experiences all the way to our grave. I'm a big believer in first things first. I always want folks to have greater stability, security, and safety in the present before we start exploring the past. But one of the things that really makes me happy for a person is when they've gotten that good foundation in sobriety and then they start working through past trauma. And I see it as a process of becoming more free. Past trauma limits us, and when we bury or stuff a memory or a set of emotions, it doesn't really change. So if I buried an experience or a memory as a child, the memory doesn't stay or doesn't become based on my understanding as an adult. It typically, traumatic memories tend to stay fixed at the point at which they're repressed. So if I never re-examine the things that I'm ashamed of, I don't have a healthy perspective, and I am likely to see them the way that a child would until I bring them out into the open, and then they look different. And then there's an opportunity to change my judgment of self, there's an opportunity to grieve, and there's an opportunity to explore how things that happened in my past are continuing to affect me today. Very often what we call trust issues are really just the fear or the expectation that we'll be judged harshly, that we'll be rejected, and so we remain alone. We don't open up. We don't share things, and that's a tragedy. We need each other, and kindred spirits are hard to find. But if you hit up a 12-step meeting, they're right there. If you hit up a group therapy session or a grief group, or you seek out a recovery coach, there they are. People who have had very similar experiences, and we're at different points in our journey, and we want to help you with yours. I, of course, want to hear from you. Jim at sobernow.com is how you reach me. Please, if you would, just give a quick like to the video, and if you're inspired to share with friends and family, that would be awesome. We're looking to bring more attention to programs that we're offering and new developments that'll be unfolding soon. Please suggestions, questions, topics, things you'd like to see addressed in future videos, I'd love to hear from you. Again, it's jim@sobernow.com, and be sure to check out sobernow.com. We're soon to be moving to a very low price subscription service. Currently, we're at a low price one-time purchase price that offers a 28-day home recovery program, and also offers a program for affected others, those of us who have a loved one, a friend or family member in active addiction. Lots of support there, and want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need, especially in these trying times. Please take excellent care of yourself, and we'll talk soon.